cares? Who gives a shit? You need to listen to it right now, or else Warhorse is gonna, I don't know, roll your ass!
This is a wonderful night. It's wonderful. I forgot to click the Glow Live while the theme song was running, so that's on me. Welcome to another episode of Raw and Order, the Wrestling Booking Unit, the only wrestling podcast on the planet that I run. Welcome. I am your host, Detective Mark Smarks, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime fighting. Starting off, District Attorney Vincent Kayfabe. What's going on, man? How are you?
That you run poorly.
Apparently, yeah.
The evidence speaks for itself.
Yeah. You get what you get, man. What can I say?
Primary host, you don't always do it. I mean, sometimes things happen in life and we do it, and it's really off the fucking rails.
Yeah.
Like, really off the fucking rails.
But also joining us from up north, the other in the we host it part, JLB. What's going on, man?
Hey. It goes good. I will be on camera shortly. Just don't feel like showing everyone that I'm smoking at the moment. So, yeah, it goes good. It's Sunday. It's fun day. Karrion Kross is back. Tag team titles are back. Naomi and Sasha potentially might be back. It should be a good one.
Did you say Caribbean Cross is back?
Karrion Kross.
I heard Caribbean Cross.
Well, I mean, maybe Vince would have made that if he was still in the WWE.
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna knock that joke because that was a good one. I do want to take a moment to point out that of the three people on this podcast, there's one person who just kept saying, hey, I just don't like Karrion Kross. I just don't get him. He just doesn't do anything for me, and he seems to be all excited that he's back all of a sudden.
Well, I mean, he was good in NXT till they ruined him. I'm excited to see what Triple H. Well, I wasn't like overly shitting on him. I just kind of started hating that fucking smoke gimmick kind of thing. But he was a good wrestler. That match that he did with Adam Cole and NXT, he's a great wrestler. There's nothing wrong with his wrestling.
I just seem to remember. I'll have to go back and I'll have to look at the audio, but I seem to remember you saying things like he just doesn't do anything for me, and I just don't see him as a.
Well, his entrance didn't.
I don't like his Doomsday Saito. He just doesn't impress me. Those were all things that you'd said. So I just wanted to call you out on it real quick and give you a little bit of shit on it.
That's fun. I'll take the shit. It smells in here.
Yes. Welcome to anyone who is watching us live on whatever platform you are. It looks like we got some people on Twitch right now, so that's the one we like to see. Ambrosia is at least one of them. So welcome.
What can I say? You're welcome.
This is going to be the first in a few weeks of the regular wrestling podcast instead of the recap of some pay-per-view or something. So that's kind of weird. So before we get into shitting on wrestling, let's talk about how we are part of the Tetanus Co podcast network. So in the doobly-doos down below.
What are you planning on shitting on tonight? This is a great week in wrestling.
Oh, there's stuff I want to shit on, but it's actually not.
Dude, when does he not always shit on stuff? I feel like
we'll get to it.
Negative Nelly, resident negative Nelly over here.
No, it's shitting on something for a positive reason. Thank you very much.
Okay.
That doesn't make sense.
Or being angry for a positive reason. Actually. But on top of it, why do we have a podcast if we're not going to shit on things? So before, let's start about.
That sounds like a fetish, man.
That's the whole reason,
What can I tell you? I'm the tribal queef.
Yes, that one.
All right, Tetanus Co Podcast Network. Sorry to interrupt.
Links in the doobly-doos. We'll get it after the show. Go check it out. Yeah, you know all that is.
And then maybe Google queef if you don't know what that is for you younger viewers.
Yes. Maybe turn on safe search. Or incognito mode before you do it, especially if you're on a public computer, or you're worried about your cookies your tracking cookies are going to be all sorts of fucked up if you start Googling.
It's going to be queeftastic.
So no, the thing I want to shit on right now is I want to shit on the WWE fans, right?
For shitting on Liv Morgan?
Yes. We finally get good shit happening, right? And it's a little bit, I admit, some of it is WWE's fault. But it's the fucking fans. We finally get good shit happening. We've been clamoring for Liv Morgan to get a shot, right? Get a championship, get whatever, for fucking years. They finally give her a championship. They give her a big win over a big name, right? And then you fucking boo her.
While right? She tapped the fuck out, though? Like, that's a heel thing to do, man. That's if you're a heel champion, you tap out while still gaining the championship. Oh my God, they got rid of over another one. It's not one to do to a face.
Again, I'm gonna say that's not Liv Morgan's fault. That's the booking's fault, and that goes back to when I complained about them cutting time from that match. Right? That match should have been a 10-minute long banger that ended with something like this. Now it should have ended differently. I 100% agree with you. Mm-hmm. But
it should have ended with her tapping at 3, like the second 3 hits or something.
At 3 or 1, 2, 3, and Rousey refuses to let go, and then Liv Morgan's tapping, right? And then Ronda Rousey claims I didn't hear the 3 count, and can still throw her little fit or whatever. But in the end, that's a booking decision. That's not a Liv Morgan decision.
Yeah, but Liv Morgan is going to get the grip of it. She's the one.
That's why I'm pissed, right? We need to make sure to aim our anger at the people that are in charge of it, right? Right? You don't fucking shit on the waitress because your food was bad.
But people
get angry at the food. Well, and I get angry at them for doing it, and they need to be called out for doing it. That's what it comes down to. This is not an excuse, right? Hey, just because everyone does this way does not get an excuse for this. Everyone who was booing Liv Morgan was doing it for the wrong reasons and booing the wrong person. And they need to be called out on it.
Well, no. At the same time, we need to see how she reacts to it, because that's going to ultimately make her the best professional. There's tons of wrestlers that get that. Cena got that, and he thrived through it. So you want to be a great champion, you're going to have to go through the fans fucking around with you. That's just,
this isn't the fans fucking around with you. This is different, right? This is the fans booing you for something that was entirely out of control. Cena got booed because people didn't like him at first, right? People didn't want him to be champion.
Raymond. Everybody loves the tribal chief.
But that's the deal. People booed and everything Cena because he was a heel, number one, and they didn't want him to be champion. They booed Roman because they didn't want him to be champion, right? But we've clamored for fucking months, for years.
I think it was just that audience. That audience.
That's fine.
Off kilter on a couple.
That's fine. They still deserve to get yelled at. They deserve this anger because they're ruining something that should have been a good thing. Now, I agree. I 100% agree that this is not entirely Liv Morgan's thing, that the booking was part of the problem, right? And it shouldn't have been booked that way, and we need to reserve some of that anger for the people who booked it. But I said my piece on the people who booked it after the show, and I said I didn't think that was the way to go with it. I didn't think that was a good ending for it. D.A. Fabe didn't like the ending for it. We all didn't like the ending for it. But again, we need to blame the people who were in charge of the ending, not the wrestlers who were just doing their fucking jobs, right? Especially given the fact that they were told, hey, by the way, you have to cut your match down from a 10-minute long or whatever length it was originally down to 4 minutes, right? They had to rush through the storyline that could have been told better. Mm-hmm. And if the storyline had gotten told better, maybe the ending would have felt better. But as it felt now, it felt like Ronda Rousey dominated her for 3.5 minutes, and then she tapped out but didn't get seen and won by a technicality, which is a heel thing to do, and she's supposed to be the ultimate babyface right now. So it was bad booking, but on top of it, it's... Again, I'm angry at the people who booed because we finally got what we wanted, and we need to take out our anger on the people who caused the booking problem, not the people who did it. And that's why I'm angry. I've been angry ever since fucking she walked out and I heard.
Well, I mean, and the wrestlers were apparently really angry too backstage and so on. No one expected it, but that's also what kind of makes it beautiful, because now Liv Morgan has an opportunity to kind of do something with that too.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, maybe those fans are smart enough to know that he'll stay champion longer.
Yeah, but they obviously didn't plan for her to be a heel.
That
plans change.
The
show must go on.
Those fans were also big time into Roman. Big time into Roman.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think everyone's generally into Roman, though.
Yeah, but not to the point where you cheer. When he calls out Brock, you don't cheer. You're like, oh.
I'm just saying this was a chance for Liv Morgan to have, and it was ruined by the bad booking, but it was also the fans ruined this moment for Liv Morgan to come out, and I don't see how they go with her character with this. This is the sort of thing that gets you go away heat. Is if the fans have already turned, which I want to point out, Becky Lynch called it fucking a year ago when she said, you're going to win this championship and then they're all going to boo you. How are you going to feel about that?
Exactly. This is always happens though.
But it doesn't always happen. It didn't happen when Becky won the championship. It didnn't happen to Bianca.
Yeah, Becky got a clean win though.
Becky got a clean win.
No, yeah. Ronda had her shoulder up.
Yeah.
And people didn't boo her.
Yeah, that's my point.
There's a big difference between tapping out and getting a shoulder up, though.
I agree. And again, I still say blame falls on the people who booked it to end that way. But I still don't like the fact that they were booing.
The face heat would have been, whenever she's back from suspension, I'll prove it.
Yeah.
That's how you move her back to face.
Well, that's how you should move her back to face. But this is the sort of thing. Booing like that follows you, right? Yes, you can blame it on that crowd, say, hey, that crowd was just worse than normal, yada, yada, yada. But this is the sort of thing that follows people, right? And it's hard to recover from that and still be a face. And
so you think just let her roll the heel?
I don't want her as a heel, but I think that's the only way you recover from it. And that's part of why I'm pissed.
I think if Shayna wins the #1 contendership, which seems like that's a possibility, you have her tap while she's pinning Shayna, and it not get seen again, and then you just turn her heel after that, and you just go, a win's a win, and I got it, okay?
And that's, again, I understand what you're saying. I don't disagree with that. I just don't want that. We finally had Liv Morgan as the champion, as a face. And I wanted to see her get her shot. Get her moment in the sun. Hey, Fernando's here.
Hey, Fernando. Ronda should stay heel.
Yeah, Ronda should stay heel,
yes. Feud with Bianca. No, she should start a fucking feud with Shayna.
Well, or fucking disappear for a while. I'm fine with. I'm still not a Ronda fan, so she can fuck off for a while and be suspended for 6 months, and I wouldn't care. But that's why I'm angry. We had a chance to see Liv Morgan as the face of the franchise, and for have another face champion for a short period of time. Liv Morgan was never going to be a long-term champion. Let's take a moment to understand that the plan was never for. It was like Daniel Bryan winning. This was WWE giving in to the fans after fans pushed and pushed and pushed. But every single one of those times, the plan eventually is to put it back on someone else. And she's a placeholder. I wanted to allow her to be a placeholder in her element.
Remember, they left a lot of that booking under the Vince style for that particular show.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about the first week of trips. and that it was a little bit different, but not significantly different. It is drastically different as of this week.
A lot more wrestling.
Oh my gosh.
A lot more.
Yes.
A lot more
I
wrestling.
saw a book
better
now.
opens, better everything.
Yeah, Fernando says Liv is just a placeholder for Charlotte, and that's unfortunately probably true.
Yeah.
I saw a breakdown. Someone did, and SmackDown this week in its 2 hours contained 41 minutes of wrestling compared to a month ago when it was 13 minutes of actual wrestling.
Wow,
13 minutes of wrestling. Wow.
Because I feel like we're going to have a lot to talk about. Do we want to get this out of the way?
Sure.
Little one, big one.
The big one. I'm a big one guy. Really quickly, I'll take a moment to use those to bitch about something else, and that's the fact that there's not a fucking Target in my town that carries those.
It wasn't a Target that I got these at. I got them at Walmart.
I got mine in the hanger packs I've never seen, but I got my big packs at Target in Kearney.
Maybe I didn't get them at Walmart. No, I got them at Walmart.
Yeah, I got them at Target.
Where's the receipt?
The only store that,
Where's the receipt?
That's the only store that me and my brother would go to in Kearney. So,
all right.
But,
Jimmy Uso. I think I already have a J.
Nice. You got the ones now.
I now have a number to a second. Tony D'Angelo.
Hey.
I would agree.
Yes,
it was beautiful.
It's beautiful to have for sure.
Another Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley.
Another Wendy Chu.
Isn't that funny how she went from being like the evil mastermind of Xia Li's faction to being the sleeping pajama lady?
This one's one that's new to me, who just had a photo shoot that was pretty epic. Queen Zelina.
Is she coming back or what?
She's still technically injured. I want to say it was a knee injury or shoulder injury, maybe. I can't remember, but she should be pretty close to coming back.
A Legends one. This is a big deal.
Oh, brother.
Oh, yeah, brother.
One no longer with WWE. Maybe coming back. Candice LeRae.
Oh, maybe with Gargano.
It's a possibility. Still not signed anywhere. One Seth freaking Rollins.
Oh, I believe that's Franklin Rollins. Thank you very much.
Yes, that's true.
Shirts
available.
For now. Limited time. Hey.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Mr. the Man. I guess. One MVP. My green one I'll save. And I'll save the red, white, and blues. Get this out of the way. My gold is one that Smarks already has.
Triple H.
My next level prism. This one's pretty cool to get. Is a Big E.
That's the one that I have.
My red, white, and blue. I have Joseph Connors. Lash Legend. Those two both go in the who the fuck is this category. I believe I already have this one, but AJ Styles. That's my red, white, and blue. And my green card, as cool as the gold Rey Mysterio green card was, this one is another who the fuck is this? Amelia McKenzie.
I think she's NXT UK, I think.
Yes, NXT UK. But maybe a not who the fuck is this at some point.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing with Who the Fuck Is This is they can become, oh, that's this guy at some point. So we started off Raw. We had Bex giving her full face turn speech, also announcing that she's well, didn't announce, but she had her arm in a sling with her shoulder injury, and then called out Bianca and officially shook her hands and said you're the champ and Bianca said you're the man, and so it's definitely a face turn for Bex, but that was all marred by the fact that backstage she got the shit beat out of her and they Pillmanized her arm, and Bailey, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai took her out, which is gonna be the kayfabe storyline for
Hello fans.
Hello, Denny. Thank you for coming on in. Little wrestling talk.
Chaos Killer TV.
They have to watch freaking. They're in Wales, so they have to watch the pay-per-view at like 4 a.m.
I assume chat rooms must be a thing.
What?
I don't foresee you making friends all over the world without it.
What chat rooms? I'm sorry.
Chat rooms,
like Discord. Discord, Twitch. That's what Twitch is for.
Like Yahoo Chat.
Yahoo Chat.
You remember Yahoo Chat?
Oh, remember Cool Chat?
Hop on there and go ASL ?
Age, sex, location. Sex would probably be a big issue now, though.
Well, you just have to be prepared for.
You just have to be prepared for the several different answers you
get. Answers.
Well, it doesn't. It's not AGL, so sex does limit you, I think.
Yeah, I always answered with yes, please.
You would.
He meets people because of ambrosia. That's probably true.
Is.
Boobs make friends.
Boobs make friends. Personality also does make friends.
Hence the reason you meet people through ambrosia.
You needed ambrosia there too. You had Montez Ford versus Seth Rollins, which was a good
fun match. Really, really great match. I like the whole rock, paper, scissors. Fuck it, I'm going for it. I thought that was going to be started like a heel turn. And then Seth even mentions it. Like, y'all should just break up. I'm like, oh, snap. Foretelling.
Hey, by the way, private chat. Nobody's responded.
Nope.
I mean, I can respond.
You have yet to make an invitation.
Boom. There, it's been responded.
Bam.
Ha.
Oh. Okay.
One job.
That happened last
week.
I didn't
One
think.
job.
I thought I remembered in the chat. I said, "Too late. I'm doing it anyways," and just did it. And so.
Okay. So she's in there right now.
Yes.
Moderating our chats right now. Cool.
If she chooses to.
She can respond on our behalf. Right
on. Well, she can't respond. She'll still be responding under her name, but she can boot or time out people or.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our producer, one of our producers,
Mod. They call him Mods.
Mod. She's a moderator. She moderates things.
Now, down the road, who to what now?
Who to what now?
See, that's what
boobs.
I said.
Just talk about boobs again, and you're
just
fine.
Boobs and personality. That's fine. Anyways, Alexa Bliss versus Asuka ended in a no contest. Boo.
I think they're trying to protect Alexa still, though. They don't want to necessarily give her a loss. And Asuka,
The key to that is letting them exchange wins and losses.
Yeah. Well, or the key to that is don't book her against people that you don't want her to lose to, right? There are enough. I know we talk about WWE not having a huge roster, but there are enough women in the locker room that you could book her to beat other people, and you don't have to put her against Asuka right now.
You know, there are times when you thought that Mankind was not going to win the match against several people, and then there was a time where he won them all.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, just the simple fact is, you know, I mean, when was the last time we saw Aaliyah?
I want to say 2 weeks ago.
The answer was 2 weeks ago on SmackDown in a losing battle, right? So, as of right now, the brand split is effectively.
And after a house show last night, we don't have Carmella to take the loss.
Messed up how Corey Graves found that out on Twitter, though. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Nobody called her husband.
Well, and the thing is...
it happens so quick. Twitter, it's easy.
Twitter, someone posted from the show.
Yeah.
They just threw up the X on Carmella.
Right, which was probably happening live. It's not like they're calling Corey Graves right at the minute. Hey, you know, they're going to go check what's wrong.
But on top of it, if you look at what happened there, it was maybe a mild concussion at best. Because
looked like it hit her neck though. Maybe her neck like kind of
no. What if you slow it down? It looks like Bianca when she did the backflip off, her head hit the back of Carmella's head.
Oh, okay.
And that knocked Carmella dizzy. But it does not look like it was a serious long term sort of thing. She might miss
woozy.
Yeah, she might miss a few weeks or whatever, but you know, the Raw brand has Tamina. It's got Nikki ASH. It's got
Doudrop. Than Tamina.
It's got Dana Brooke.
Dana.
Those are all people on the Raw brand that you could book Alexa Bliss to face. Yeah, to lose to. You know, in fact, you've had Dana Brooke, the 24/7 champion, lost to Alexa just a couple weeks ago, and Alexa won the 24/7 championship for 30 seconds, whatever. But, you know, you go over and you bring someone from SmackDown. You've got Xia Li, Sonya Deville, Shotzi. You've got Raquel Rodriguez. Probably wouldn't want her to lose to Alexa right now. Natalya. You've got,
but you could have Alexa have a good quality battle with her.
Yeah, you got Lacey Evans, who reports have it they've got fucking nothing for her right now because she was a Vince project, and so they're totally going to revamp her character and try to turn her into something new. So those are all ones, and then you know you've got fucking 30 people on the NXT roster that you could pull up, and most of them are who the fuck is this? But that's what they're there for, right? You call them up to have a one-off match against Alexa, right? I think modern audiences have been spoiled for a long time with wrestling. The way wrestling used to be, like in the 1980s and early 90s, was you did not see the big names wrestle each other on a weekly basis. That was the pay-per-view, right? You'd see the big names wrestle against jobbers on a regular basis. Their job was to build the big name up for the pay-per-view where they would wrestle against the other big name, right?
Well, and so, you might see some mid-carders.
You might see some mid-carders, but my point is...
with not having a mid-card, too.
Yeah, my point is, 30 years ago, Alexa Bliss versus Asuka would not happen on a random episode of Raw, right? That would be one that they would build up. They'd have matches where Alexa beats someone and then Asuka beats that same person the next week, you know, and so on and so forth, leading up to the big match. And they could do that because, like, I mean, I'm looking at this NXT roster, and like, yeah, Alba Fire, which is the former Kaylee Ray, right? Ever since they changed her name, she needs to reestablish herself, so might as well show her up a few times on Raw.
And there's no shame in even Mandy Rose coming up and losing to a contender.
Mm-hmm. Last Legend that you pulled the card for.
Yeah.
Roxanne Perez, Saray.
Even
Indy Hartwell come up loose.
Indy Hartwell, that big beauty girl that everybody's always
Nikita Lyons.
And Nikita Lyon.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with having them come up, put on a competitive match with Alexa Bliss.
Wendy Chu could come up in her fucking pajamas and.
So you're saying you want NXT stars to job?
It's
in quality matches,
job.
Yes.
It is literally their job. They're developmental, and that's what developmental does, right? That's what developmental has done in professional wrestling since the dawn of time. Until you've established a name and established your skills, your job is to job.
Which is why sometimes you don't keep the same gimmick for those years.
Yeah. That's why, we can have Tiffany Stratton come up and job a couple times and then go back down there and they change her name to Victoria Blaze or something like that. And then they give her a run. But anyways, I just think having a no contest, the one thing that I want to see more than anything out of Triple H is a reduction of no contests and disqualification finishes, right? Those were a hallmark of Vince, and it would be really nice if I'm not saying they have to go away entirely, but it would be nice to see them get less. Ciampa versus Dolph Ziggler versus Chad Gable. They're obviously now with Trips in charge. They're building Ciampa up.
For sure.
I would like to see him separate from.
I think that's eventually what's going to happen. He's going to realize he's bigger than The Miz, but The Miz definitely helped him out a bit. So I think he might stay there for a little while. He's going to be champion. And they're going to get on each other's nerves. And it might end with The Miz facing Ciampa for the U.S. Championship. Ciampa beating him. And that's it. They're done kind of thing, So
Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. Oh, ended another no contest. I'm less angry about this one because it was the heels doing the heel thing during a match that involved them. You know what I mean? So, I guess. Ciampa then versus AJ Styles, getting the win over AJ. Usos beat up the Mysterios, so that's fun.
Well, that was the main event, no? That was a shitty main event. Not shitty, okay. But when compared to the AJ Styles versus Tommaso Ciampa match, I was like, why wasn't that your main event?
Because this is building up the bigger feud that they're trying to do. It's the Bloodline, and so they're doing that. It's actually building up two things because it's building up the Bloodline and the Judgment Day feud, which I think, knowing Trips, I think we're going to see both of the male members of Judgment Day get some really big pushes coming up here soon. Remember that Finn Balor was Trips' choice for champion back when he had control in NXT, and they loved Damian Priest down there. Rhea Ripley got a lot of love down in NXT now, so I will have to say that very rarely have I been jealous of Dominic Mysterio, but the ending to this did give me a reason to be jealous.
This is for the fan who just asked us to show Pretty Women.
Yeah, it's here.
There you go. There's a picture of Wendy Chu in a onesie.
Yep. That's your Pretty Women.
We are not a dirty show kind of guys, so sorry.
Well, that's the closest we have to Pretty Women on this show right now. So, we mentioned the bra and panties match that we'll do if we get to enough subscribers, but I think that's a ways off. And I don't think that's going to end the way you guys want it to. So, you know.
So anyway, we're just we're not about. We'll talk about it. Oh, we'll talk about it. You can use my voice for your dirty thoughts.
Oh, geez.
Oh,
Mr.
fuck.
Yes.
You got to put some pepper on it. You got to put a little bit of pepper on it.
It's not a
yes.
SmackDown was better, like we said, more wrestling through it. Ricochet got to show off, so that's good.
Ricochet got to show off. Mustafa Ali got to show off. I'm very, very happy. Really was a good week in wrestling. This is the first time I was pissed that I was missing like an hour of wrestling.
Yeah, 40 minutes of wrestling on the show. But yeah, it was nice to start off with Ricochet showing off. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ludwig Kaiser was fun. Also, nice to see Nakamura get a win.
Right.
He's someone that I do think will benefit from Trips being in charge.
If ever I've been in favor of a really bad name change, it's Ricochet. I would love to see him be the Irish ass kicker and have him be Rick O'Shea.
That's horrible.
Air Ireland, Rick O'Shea. That'd be great.
Not a fan.
For one Baszler beat up on a bunch of people.
Just in mockery.
Maybe for 1 minute. Maybe for 1 minute they can do that.
No, that's going to be our fake T-shirt for him.
Rick O'Shea.
We haven't introduced those yet. Do we want to show a couple of those?
No, we do not. I want them to all show up. I'm going to put them all up at one moment. And then maybe if I get them all done in time for Tuesday's show, we'll be able to go through them all.
That we have our abstract art shirts coming out.
AI-generated abstract art.
These are fun. They are really fun shirts. And you can send one to your favorite wrestler.
Mm-hmm. Or just wear them around and see who figures them out, because they're going to be, even with wording on them, they're a little hard to figure out sometimes, and that's the point. So, and then Karrion Kross coming out. That was the big news from SmackDown. Karrion Kross back. Most importantly, though, they gave him his fall and pray. He didn't have the smoke, but he still had a like.
I don't know if they can do enough smoke to.
He also added hair.
Well, yeah, he added hair. He added it during his off time.
Yeah. And we also, for those who watched the Ric Flair, you would have saw him with hair too. So yeah. But he looked pumped.
But he came out. They had Scarlett with him, which was a difference from the previous time he was on Raw.
Right.
And I mean, basically, they were doing his same gimmick from NXT.
Yeah.
Except with hair. Which is the way it should have been done from the beginning.
Well, I don't care if he has hair or not.
No, it doesn't matter the hair. That's not the part. It's the doing his own. It's NXT gimmick. That's what I'm referring to. Is that's what should have been done from the beginning? Is instead of giving him a fucking gimp suit with a cosplay helmet, and I've come out and should have just been the same guy, right? Do the same shit you did before,
right?
I mean, that's part of what boggled my mind so much about it is why do we do a developmental brand if what that person develops in the developmental brand is not used in...
It's not a usable item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely never understood that.
Why even bother doing it if you're going to spend months or even years developing someone to be a certain way, to have a certain look and a certain gimmick down in developmental, and then bring them up to the main roster and be like, now you have to do everything different.
Right.
That goes against the whole point of it being a developmental brand.
Well, that's what happens when you have your CEO who doesn't really watch NXT or did watch and didn't care. He's like, well, we're just going to change him. Here, you're this guy. You're.
But so the counterpoint to that is what he should have done is, and I didn't want this to happen, but if that's what he was going to do from the beginning, then what he should have done is instituted changes in NXT a long time ago. If you're not going to use the characters as they're developed in NXT, then don't have them develop those characters that way. But
fair enough.
Fernando says that Karrion looks better with hair.
That's subjective, but he looks crazier without the hair, in my opinion. But I think with this character, he's going to be a little less crazy. Yes, they have everything kind of going the same, but he's going to be a little less psychopathic and a little bit more hungry, I guess.
I don't think the hair makes a lick of difference in his character. And so it doesn't matter to me. It's not like, Baron Corbin.
Plus, he's a face.
Baron Corbin was improved by shaving his head because he couldn't grow a full head of hair. And so his hair looks stringy and nasty. Karrion Kross, it goes either way, right? It's fine either way.
Well, the advantage to having hair is that he can do a hair match if they so decide at some point.
Yeah.
Or more importantly, he can lose his fucking mind at some point and then shave his head.
Right. Or, he can just have hair and it not be a plot point, Yeah. It can just be there. As long as they have him murk people. That's what he needs to do. And he came out and he murked Drew McIntyre.
I'm excited for if on Friday this week he comes out and he murks fucking Roman. Just fucking wrecks Roman.
Yeah, so what I've been reading, reports have it, insiders are stating this, that USA Network is angry
and wants a title.
That they don't have a title on their show, which I
understand.
I think we've been saying for a while.
We've been saying since they unified the titles, air quotes, unified the titles. That I knew the networks would eventually be angry if they didn't have a title on their show. So, they reportedly brought Karrion Kross in to be a third wheel in a match with Roman, so they would have an excuse to make it a match for one of the titles, but not both of the titles. Right?
So you think he's going to be on Clash of the Castle?
I don't know if it's going to be as soon as Clash of the Castle. It might be. But what I think is going to happen is it's going to be turned into a triple threat. Right?
Right.
And it's going to be one of those, maybe
first titles.
First fall is for the Raw title, second fall is for the SmackDown title, or whatever.
Which means Roman doesn't have to take a loss and can lose both titles.
Yeah.
Which I think is gold.
Yeah, it means Karrion or Drew can pin the other one for the first one, and then Roman gets angry and then comes out and gets back in and murks them both and wins the second fall. Yeah. And so he keeps his SmackDown championship, but loses the Raw, so the Raw can go back on Raw again, or SmackDown, and then he comes over to Raw, and then he's on Raw. That's an option they can do.
Which does end his longest reign ever.
That's why I don't think they're going to do it. It keeps the title line going, but it doesn't. Yeah, I think they're going to keep him on SmackDown. That just makes the most sense to me. Yeah. But I don't think Karrion's going to win the belt. I think
Wrestle Talk.
You think Drew is?
They think it's going to be Drew versus Karrion later on.
Mm-hmm.
The long-term feud is going to be Drew versus Karrion.
Yeah, I think.
Which you can throw Bobby Lashley into that. You can throw Seth into that.
And you still have Theory out there running around with a belt, with a contract, the briefcase. So, but no, the way I see it, Drew is able to pin Karrion at this, win one of the belts, the Raw belt, I would assume. And then Karrion gets angry and says...
Rumor has it, though, that Drew is the guy that they want to take one of the belts off with.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I've been reading it. And so Karrion's going to be the means. And then, here's the deal. If
Roman Karrion Kross just fucking destroy Roman.
Well...
Like because of shenanigans or whatever, he caught him with 3 Doomsday Saitos. Roman didn't actually get pinned, and then he turns around. Karrion Kross turns around and he gets, the fucking Claymore to the face.
Yep. Or inversely, he's beating Drew, and then he turns around and gets speared by Roman. And when Roman stands up, Roman eats a Claymore.
Yeah.
And then Karrion gets pinned by Drew.
Yeah, Roman eats a Claymore out of the ring. And then...
out of the ring. Yep. Then Drew pins Karrion in the ring, gets the win. Karrion still feels like he was the better person at that because he was destroying Roman and destroyed Drew, and then he just got hit by a spear.
And they have a knack of always making the faces fucking throw the other guy out to get the pin, so just keep that going.
Yep. Well, they've had the Claymore knock someone out of the ring before.
Specifically, they had it knock Brock out of the ring for the Royal Rumble that he won.
Yep.
Right.
So it was nice to see. Apparently, the deal for Karrion Kross came together fucking like within hours, sort of a thing.
Oh wow! SmackDown. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. It was.
I don't think he would have insisted on being in the title picture. I think that was booking that they wanted him in the title picture.
No, I
think he would have been fine being mid card for a while, just as long as he didn't have to wear a fucking gimp outfit with a fucking mask.
As long as they booked him well and let him win matches, you know what I mean. But no, I don't think.
I think he'd have been okay with losing to Jeff Hardy when he did, but by roll up is fucking stupid.
In 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds, yeah. On top, on plus.
But I, from everything I've read, like they came to him and said, "Hey, we want you back. We want to insert you in the title picture now, immediately. We want you on the show tonight," and they were able to put it together. That's the way I kind of read it. So,
and I don't, the advantage to some of the, we talk budget cuts, but the advantage to some of these up and comers is they don't require $1 million a show like Brock does.
Right. That's
and they bring
huge
more
exception.
Attention. Yeah. Well, not just, I mean, Seth Rollins is expensive. He's $5 million a year. Kevin Owens is expensive. He's $3 million a year.
Right.
Worth it. But yeah, it you're right. It never made sense to let go of Karrion Kross. Never made sense at all.
Fair. Yep. But like
I
said,
shit ass gimmick they gave him though. Jesus.
That's the thing is the only reason it made sense is because they fucked him up so bad. I mean, it's one of those. How do you mess up that character so bad? Well,
I mean, I just want to run this by you. Karrion Kross versus Edge. Karrion Kross versus Seth Rollins. Karrion Kross versus Kevin Owens. Karrion Kross versus... All of those are fucking fire, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Karrion Kross. Give me Owens, Seth, Cody when he comes back. Would be fucking cool too. He'd be great on the fucking roster.
I think they're saving the Cody match for Roman. I think that's how Roman goes titleless.
I think that's how they maybe unify them again. Cody versus Roman. Cody is the Raw, and Roman is the SmackDown.
I hope that they've learned their lesson from this unification.
Yeah, I think
it's done what they wanted to do. They made Roman the biggest name in sports entertainment, and he is absolutely that.
The only way that I'm fine with them doing a unification again on the titles is if they fully unify them down to one belt. And then they stop the brand split entirely. And it's just everything goes.
But I don't think they have to. I think that they're seeing their budgets and going, long term, Nick Khan wants to be the CEO for a long time. Long term,
well, no, I don't think they're going to
for a long time.
That's the only way it makes sense for them to unify the titles. That's all I'm saying. Do I think they should do it? No, I don't. I think, in fact, they need to go harder on the brand split again, and I think they're going to. They're already feeling pressure from Fox and USA Network that they want each brand wants their brand to feel like a premium, and when you have the people just going back and forth between brands, neither brand feels like the premium, right? And so I would imagine with Nick Khan making decisions that we will soon see the brand split get more strict. Probably even more strict in the fact that they used to do that stupid little thing where each person could go to the other brand 3 times a year or something like that.
I would say that was not going to happen.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the brand split get to these are SmackDown wrestlers, these are Raw wrestlers.
And your opportunity to face each other is
Survivor Series. Yep, that's the only time we ever see them.
After that, we do the draft. Mm-hmm. Not before it, but after it, we do the draft. And for draft position, you want to win for your team.
That would be the way I would do it if I were in charge. Reports have it they're planning on doing a draft maybe as early as this month.
Oh, wow.
So,
well, when you're writing the new face, writing the new stories.
But here's what, like I said, if you do a brand split with hard and fast rules on it, then invasion angles come back on the table, right?
Yes.
Especially leading up to Survivor Series, you can have an invasion that makes sense because these aren't people we normally see, and they're coming over and they're whooping our people's asses.
Look at the whole Raw and SmackDown thing, when Becky got fucking her nose broke in and all that. That shit was fire.
That sold. That was the best line of that year.
Yep.
But to do that, you have to have a solid line between Raw and SmackDown, and that people don't cross except for major storylines.
And not just because SummerSlam's coming.
Yeah. Right. Major storylines, right? The only time it happens is
storyline can't imitate life. So if you start getting some chitter chatter on Twitter between the wrestlers, all right, fine, we'll throw it in at fucking Hell in a Cell because it's Hell in a Cell. And
but my point is, you then turn it into a major storyline. You don't just have it be, Riddle showed up backstage at SmackDown because he could, right?
Correct. You start getting them. I'm the best in the world.
You got to make the brand really exclusive.
And somebody else goes, "Oh, you're the best." Well, you're not even on the best show, and then that can talk for months and be like, "Well, I'll find a way to face you at Survivor Series," and then it just gets vulgar enough or rude enough on Twitter to go, you know what? We don't have to wait till Survivor Series. I'm going to talk to.
But I don't think you need to do that. I think the biggest thing is you can have a storyline where someone invades, where Riddle says, "Fuck it, Shinsuke, I'm coming for you," and then he shows up there and he beats up Shinsuke, right? And then Shinsuke can come back across and beat up for a storyline. But what they just had for the past year was just like, fucking, so-and-so just is here. He's wherever he wants to be.
Yeah. And the only reason to really do that type of invasion is for a title.
Yeah. So you have Cody Rhodes have the title on Raw, and then Roman says, "I want to be the champ again. I'm gonna challenge you for the title."
I don't do that.
I don't want that, but that's how you can do it.
Or I just lost to Roman, but I'm pretty sure I can beat Cody.
Mm-hmm. Or someone beats Roman, and Roman's like, I don't want to not be the champ, so I'm gonna go after Cody or whoever. Anyways, we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk AEW a bit. because AEW was a fun week too.
Yeah.
AEW had their Battle of the Belts 3 over the weekend, 1 hour special event. They had Dynamite, they had Rampage, they had their Dark and all of that stuff. They had their dumpster match, the Acclaimed versus the Gun Club on Dynamite, which was fun.
Scissor me, daddy.
Yeah. You had I know.
Did you like the rap?
Yes. Well,
Maxcaster.
His raps are usually pretty good. They're funny.
Oh yeah, that was fucking great. We're gonna have you retire like Vince McMahon.
I know the match that you were so happy to see was Orange Cassidy versus Jay Lethal.
I don't ever like Jay Lethal. It
was a good match.
If he's not Black Machismo, he's not worth watching.
He's doing pretty decent as heel Jay Lethal right now. So, tag teams Thunderstorm versus Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, which then set up the match for Battle of the Belts, correct? Which was Jamie Hayter versus Thunder Rosa.
What the fuck are you doing?
What am I doing?
I feel like you're trying to fuck your mic.
Yeah, all sorts of noise from your microphone.
Oh.
Like yeah, still doing it. Still trying to fuck your mic. Okay.
Is it better now?
Well, when you're not fucking dicking with it, sure.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I gotta get a new headset.
Well, I don't know. Use one of the mics that you have, you know? I know you've got like 2 of them there. Jay Lethal is great. Fernando agrees.
Yeah, well, that's... Fernando, you and I are usually on the same page, bud. I don't know why you got to be wrong this time.
AEW had Powerhouse Hobbs come out and murk some jobber. It was nice seeing that happen.
I am ready for Hobbs versus
Ricky Starks.
Yeah, Ricky Starks.
Yes.
I am about that, and I'm really ready to see who Hook partners up with. Who Hook's like? No, I respect you. You're my dude.
Well, they did officially announce. They officially announced on Dynamite that Team Taz is dead. There is no Team Taz anymore.
Finito.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because Hobbs destroyed Starks.
And Taz didn't know what the fuck was going on, so he was just like, you know what, guys? Yep. This is over.
It's over. It's finito. It's done. Matt Hardy versus Christian Cage. Probably the only match of the night that I like. There's nothing against either of them, but we've seen that before, you know.
Especially that guy who played it in No Mercy when he had that sign in the front.
Yeah, I played this match. I played
in WWF No Mercy.
Ricky has a very bright future.
Very bright future. Ricky is a star. He's a fucking star. He will be world champion within the next 5 years. I think that's a safe bet.
Oh, I thought you were going to say year. I was like MJF and Jungle Boy, and there's lots of guys in front of that.
I think Ricky is hopping towards the top of the line. I think.
I don't think he gets it before Darby.
I think he gets it before Darby.
I do. I think Darby's gonna find as over as he is with the crowd and everything.
He's always when it comes to mid-card.
World title, I don't think he's gonna be the guy for the world title.
Are you gonna say he's too small?
No, it's his style, really, is what it comes down to. Ricky is Baby Rock. That's what Fernando says.
Yeah. Yeah, you cut the promo.
So, the Acclaim versus Gun Club we mentioned in the dumpster match, and then Jericho versus Wheeler Yuta. This was for Jericho's spot against John Moxley at whatever they're calling the battle at the
Quake in the Lake, baby.
Quake at the Lake. That's it. The thing that I really liked about this one is Chris Jericho broke out the Lion Tamer.
Yeah. which I think is better than the Walls of Jericho.
I agree. It is way better than the Walls of Jericho.
Knee in the back makes a difference.
Yes, knee in the back. Does.
But he's of an age where, bending your knees can get a little difficult sometimes.
Hey, I get it. But it's by far the superior move. The Walls of Jericho is just a Boston Crab. There's nothing different between.
It's a tall Boston.
Not the way he does it anymore. He sits flat down on their backs now.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He just sits down on their back, and it's just a Boston Crab. The Lion Tamer is a modified Boston Crab where he puts that knee right in their back and cranks it back, and it looks so much nicer.
You said nicer.
Nicer. We had
on. I'm pretty sure it's more nice.
Nope, more nicer. Nice. I prefer nicer. Rampage had it started off. This was the one that was crazy to me. They started off Rampage with the world title match, Moxley versus Mance Warner.
Yeah.
And that to me says they had a lot of faith in the match that they eventually put as the main event, which says a lot. They had Mance Warner versus John Moxley to start off. They had Takeshita versus Ryan Nemeth, which was mostly just a light workout for Takeshita. I love Takeshita. I hope AEW is working on some way to get him back from DDT Pro soon, because he's heading back. In fact, he might actually be on a plane right now back to Japan for DDT. But he is so much fun to watch.
He's very energetic too, and the fans seem to really like him, so they might bring him back.
I hope they're working on buying out his DDT contract if they have to, because he's gonna be a star at some point. Then they had Madison Rayne make her debut in ring for AEW against Layla Gray. Madison Rayne, of course, was the big signing. They announced it like freaking earlier that day, or maybe it was the day before. But Madison Rayne is going to be the head coach for the women's division. And
which is a smart move.
Yeah, it's a very good move.
She knows how to sell.
Yep. And then she's also an in-ring competitor. They're setting up. She's going to have a match eventually against fucking Jade Cargill. She'll get murked in that match, but she should. Yeah, she should. That's the way it should be. But and then the main event for Rampage was the AEW Tag Team Championship match. Josh Woods and Tony Nese challenging against Swerve in Our Glory. So they put Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland in the main event. And I think that says a lot about the amount of faith that AEW has in Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Both of these people in their previous job with the Fed, I say that only because I saw someone online who was so pissed that people still call it the Fed, even though it's been over 20 years since they stopped being the Federation. But Keith Lee was kind of a nobody on the main event in.
Oh yeah, let's just fucking job out Keith Lee. I mean, you had him be the last person from NXT and nearly beat Roman at Survivor Series,
and then come up to the main roster and just fucking job.
Just watch out. Well, I'm gonna show that they're the developmental brand. Mm-hmm. I truly think it was that fans were, oh my god, this is such a better product.
Well, that's what
pissed off that people were saying it's a better product, even though it wasn't selling more because it was on a worse night.
Ever since Trips was announced to be taking over creative, I've seen a lot of people saying that oh great, now we get to see our black and gold brand back. We can get NXT back to black and gold. And I'm like, fuck that. I don't care if NXT goes back to black and gold. I want Raw and SmackDown to become black and gold.
Yes.
Right? I don't want him to bring back NXT to its glory days, which he will. I want him to bring that to the other brands.
Yeah. Number one, I don't give a shit what the colors are for the brands. I would like them to shut off the lights to the audience at NXT. Mm-hmm. I think that's okay to do. But beyond that, I don't give a
shit. They could bring back the Lions Den match. That was fun in NXT. But yeah, no, I want them to bring the style of NXT up to the main roster. That's what I want them to do. And then yesterday we had Battle of the Belts 3, their third edition, hence the name of Battle of the Belts, 1 hour pay-per-view special event on TNT. And it started off with Takeshita challenging Claudio Castagnoli for the Ring of Honor World Championship. And it was a fire match. This was
It's honestly all the matches on the Battle of the Belts were great. Fine. Matches. It's just me realizing that the belts won't change hands just because Thunder Rosa is not going to lose it to Hayter, and Castagnoli is not going to lose the ROH championship that he just got, or else we'll and what was the other one? The other one was
Wardlow versus Jay Lethal.
Wardlow's obviously not going to lose it. So that's the only thing that kind of ruined it. Realizing
Wardlow not losing to Jay Lethal is not an obvious thing.
No, I don't
because
think
they're trying to build the ROH brand too.
Yeah, I don't think Jamie Hayter beating Thunder Rosa was out of the question either. Here's the deal: they're telling a storyline of its strength in numbers for Britt Baker. And Jamie Hayter's part of that strength in numbers. So that was a prime match for...
I could see them doing a finger poke of doom, though, with Jamie Hayter if she won it.
Well, potentially. The storyline that I think they would really tell is Jamie Hayter wins, then Britt Baker's like, great, now all you have to do is lose it to me, and then I'll
just
be champion
do a finger poke of doom, and we're good.
And Jamie Hayter goes, no.
I'm the champion.
I'm the champ now. You got to beat me. And that's the storyline they can tell. Now, here's the deal. I could see Jamie Hayter getting the win through heel tactics in a way that would have kept the belt on Thunder Rosa. Right?
A DQ of some type?
A DQ or outside of the ring, count out. Jamie Hayter just walks off or something, or Thunder Rosa gets knocked out and counted out outside of the ring. Jamie Hayter gets the win, but Thunder Rosa retains the belt to lead. Or even
Rebel just holds on to Thunder Rosa's leg because she's trying to get back into the ring on a 9 count.
Exactly. Or the ref's distracted and Britt Baker comes out and locks in the lockjaw on Thunder Rosa on the ramp.
Catches it.
And the ref maybe even doesn't see it, but then turns, she releases it and turns around, but Thunder Rosa can't get back to the ring in time. Yeah. She's out. And then Jamie Hayter has reason to be angry at Britt Baker because you cost me my championship. And they can build up that eventual implosion, because that's what happens in groups like that eventually, right?
But I think it's still a little too soon for that faction.
I agree, but that's the
I think Britt Baker's second run with the title is coming soon.
Those are the sorts of things that you tease for a long time. And then the Jay Lethal versus Wardlow. That's really up in the air because they're really pushing Jay Lethal to be this big heel, going into the eventual relaunch of Ring of Honor. Putting the TNT Championship on him is not entirely out of the question for a short period of time, especially with Satnam Singh on the outside, again, doing heel tactics to win, right?
Somebody diving in Wardlow's knee and giving him a 3-week vacation while he recovers on his knee, even though it takes way longer than that if they damage your knee.
Right.
So those are things. Fernando agrees with JLB that he thought the matches were too predictable, but I guess. I think
they were, but that doesn't mean they couldn't have been.
Yeah, I think in the results in the end, looking back in hindsight, look predictable. But in reality, I think these matches, 2 of the 3 matches could have gone either way with very, very little change to booking. Right. So, but it was just a fun week. It's all I'm saying is they all 3 of these matches were fire. They were all great matches. Jay Lethal versus Wardlow was a very typical David versus Goliath, except in this case, David was a heel who was cheating to try to win. Storyline. Thunder Rosa versus Jamie Hayter was one of the better non-hardcore matches the women's division has had.
Right? Yeah, I'd agree with that. I really am digging Hayter now, though.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you might have to hold on to your digging of Hayter because apparently she broke her nose.
Nose. Oh, nose.
Oh, nose. Yeah. Did you intend that pun? You better fucking coward.
I always usually say it.
Always.
So I'm like, oh, nose. And then so I'm like, this works perfectly. But yeah, hopefully she gets better soon.
Yeah. Well, and you can wrestle with a broken nose as long as you protect it in certain ways. Like, I mean, worst case scenario, we should turn it into a gimmick a la Cody Rhodes' Dashing Cody Rhodes mask.
Hell, have her fucking bring out the paper bags and everything. Just fucking murk the fucking shit out of one of Cody Rhodes' old gimmicks.
Mm-hmm. So,
I feel like they would do that, Dig. Yep.
So. All right, I'm going to do the other pack too.
Okay, do the other pack. Let's do this.
So these are only 4. But I know that I have I assume that I have a green foil because I think in every box there's green foil too.
Yeah, if my experience is indicative, you'll get a green foil, a prism, fearless, a gold, and a prismatic entry, and then
in the box,
and then a next level all in the box. So that's basically one of each style of polls.
I have an NXT 2.0 Dakota Kai. Not NXT 2.0. I have a Angel Garza. I'm sorry. Angel.
Update. It was announced today, or at least came out today. He's got his first name back, or his last name back. He will now be known as Angel Garza going forward.
I have a Batista doing the spine buster to somebody with blonde hair.
I wonder how long it's going to be before JLB realizes he's still muted.
Give me what I want.
I didn't realize it. And I must have already had my green one, so I have a next level Kofi Kingston.
Kofi.
Hey. New Day.
That's
rocks.
A good next level.
I have 2 next levels from the New Day.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool to get all 3. I would probably frame that.
I don't have a next level, but I do have a fearless. I do have a next level that's Big E, but I do have a fearless Sasha Banks, which, judging by her appearance at the Comic-Con that she was at, she is not fearless. She very much has fear, and that fear is fans getting too close to her.
Really?
Oh, you didn't see the photo?
Yeah. She's charging $130 to get your picture taken with her, and they're demanding you stand about 3 feet away from her.
Oh, really?
So all of the pictures.
I get the no touching, but what the fuck? 3 feet away? Go fuck yourself.
All of the pictures
look
myself
in the photo.
So super awkward because it's her standing, and then this big gap, and then another guy standing there. So there are a few that also had Naomi in them, and so it's Sasha and Naomi standing side by side, and then a big gap, and then the other guy going, "Hey, I'm here too," and. The thing is, and JLB can back me up on this, it would take 30 seconds, if that, of Photoshop work to close that gap in Photoshop.
Exactly.
Right? before printing it out. So have them stand farther apart, and then in Photoshop you just go select and content shift and boom, and then
Yeah, but if I'm going to pay $130, I would just like not to have to fucking Photoshop. Thank you very much.
I agree, but they could have changed it at least a little bit with the Photoshop. It would have looked, at least in the end, the person would have got a photo that looked like they were near.
Right.
But that being said, reports have it that Sasha is an anti-vaxxer, so maybe the fans were better off being 3 feet away from her.
So you either get a next level or a fearless. That's how that worked out for me.
In my box, I got both a next level and a fearless.
I opened 2 booster packs and a box.
Because I got my next level Big E.
I do have a prismatic.
And my fearless Sasha Banks. I got my prismatic AJ Styles. I got my Trips Gold.
Trips Gold.
Trips Gold. Trips Gold.
I got my Prism Aaliyah. I got my... Hopefully this is now a collectible because it's got her name wrong on it.
Might be. And it's a green foil.
Mm-hmm.
I would venture to guess my red, white, and blue Gable Stevenson's probably going to be the most valuable of my Gable Stevenson's.
Trying to think if there's any other one that I think is going to be potentially huge.
I will say, hands down, the one that I have that I think is going to be the biggest deal is the green gold. I think green golds in general are rare.
Even though this isn't a particularly rare one, it is a rookie card for someone who's eventually going to be a name.
Yeah.
And so, I also see this name eventually becoming a name on the main roster.
Probably not as Casey Catanzaro.
Probably not as that.
I love those tights on her. Mm-hmm. We're going to leave it at that.
And then I've got a couple that are no longer in the WWE.
WWE.
So here's a ponderance I wanted to bring up. Right? Do you think I'll do it this way? What do you think the chances are that we, in the not too distant future, see new designs for the belts?
I don't think that's gonna happen till maybe Mania. I don't think that's gonna be something that Trips is gonna really get a focus on just yet.
I think it's. I don't think it's a Trips decision. I think it's a
Nick and Steph decision.
But
it is related to the.
It is 11 years since they changed to this.
Mm-hmm. It's been a long time since they changed the design. But B, and this is where I think Fernando.
Has it been 11 years already? Shit.
Yep.
When The Rock beat CM Punk for the title.
For the title. They debuted. That one was the WWE Champion one, which had a smaller scratch-based WWE logo on it, and then a big banner that said Champion.
But the big drastic change was.
But but the shape of the belt was what we now see. And then it wasn't that much longer before they updated it to the new network logo, the hard WWE, and everything. But in the end, here's the reason I was thinking this is I've been watching a lot of belt videos recently, because I'm planning on ordering a belt here soon. But I noticed
Braun Panics champion.
The WWE, the new style, Universal and World Heavyweight Champion, World Belt, are based off of branding, right? Which was a Vince McMahon thing. That he wanted the WWE logo to be the most prominent thing.
Right.
But Triple H...
Not the whole fucking belt.
Yeah, but Triple H was a champion with the big eagle. Right. Triple H was around for the winged eagle belt. The Universal.
He wore a big gold belt.
He had the big gold belt, right? And the way I see it, I see there at least being a chance, and I don't know. That's why I wanted to word it this way: is maybe it's not as big as I think it is, but I see, especially with Trips, and going down and looking at the NXT Championship belt, right, and how those had been designed, especially earlier on and as they went on, right. I can see the push being back to let's change these from a branding and change them back into a championship. You know what I mean? Reports have it that Trips has already started making cuts on the banned word list, including wrestler and belt being removed from the band's word list.
Nice.
That
Which
they can
both showed up.
Start calling them the belts. I'm coming after the belt. I'm coming after the thing. I'm gonna come after Fernando here on this. That maybe in 3 or 4 years we'll see a change in look, unless AEW comes out with really cool belts soon. Are you fucking kidding me? AEW's belts are the best in the game right now.
I knew. I knew that was coming.
In terms of design,
somebody's a mark.
In terms of design, the only belt in terms of design right now that stands up, current belt, is maybe the Impact World Championship, but I really don't. If New Japan went back to the V4 IWGP V4 belt, then that's top of the tier, right?
Right.
But they don't have that anymore. They have the new fucking Divas belt, right? But the AEW,
the butterfly belt.
Yeah, God, I do not like the new IWGP belt. But the AEW World Champion belt that John Moxley or CM Punk, whoever your bias is on that, currently have, is one of the best in the business, if not the best, right? The design of the All Atlantic Championship belt, the new design of the Women's Championship belt, the all fucking top tier, right?
The first design of the Women's Championship belt was terrible.
The first design wasn't good, right? And it was too small. They then revamped it, and it was bigger, and it was better, but it still wasn't good. The new one, though, is absolute fucking fire.
They do have nice belts. I'm just looking them, yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely, they seem more prestigious than WWE's ones. They try
to distance themselves from Vince with. But they are obviously trying to distance the product.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing is, I don't think this is so much a distance from Vince. I think this is about
going back to
when, because this is about making those belts seem like championships now instead of billboards. And that's not about distancing it from Vince. I think that's more about going back to, I think that's Trips and Stephanie and even Nick Khan being able to say, listen, you look at, wrestling championship belts all got their start in boxing championship belts. Mm-hmm. You look at boxing championship belts, they have not changed in their opulence in fucking decades, right? Okay, they're about being big and opulent and encrusted in jewels and gold looking, and that was the whole point of the belts. And that's why the big gold belt from WCW is to this day still held by most as one of the best belts in the history of wrestling, because it was big and it was opulent. And I'm not saying they get rid of the WWE logo, but when I look back and
make it fucking smaller though, holy shit.
Make it smaller, yeah. When I look back, if you asked me to do my tier ranking of championship belts, Big Gold is always my number 1, but the Winged Eagle is always really high. Maybe my number 2. And the WWF logo on it was like this big, right?
I'm sorry.
Bless you.
Yeah. The WWF logo was a little big, but it was a fucking opulent belt, and everyone wanted to have it. And then they went to the Big Eagle. It was still opulent. It still said a lot, and the WWF logo was still pretty small on it, right?
I think there's something to be said. So hear me out on this, because this is a way I think you can do that. And I think there's two things that are eventually going to happen. I think that John Cena will eventually take Ric Flair's place with 17 titles. I also think that it will happen the same night that Charlotte takes Ric's place with 17 titles. I can see Cena reintroducing the spinner belt for himself.
Yeah, for himself.
And then the next champion introducing the new belt.
See, I think there's a different belt that should be reintroduced. And I'm not sold on the fact that Cena's gonna win another championship.
You think he stops at 16?
Yeah.
I'm 100% sold that Charlotte's gonna hold 17 titles.
I don't have an argument against Charlotte, but there's a different championship belt that I think I don't necessarily think they bring this belt back per se, but I think this is the belt that you use to base your next belt on.
Dun dun dun.
That one, yeah.
Go back to the winged.
I love the Winged Eagle, and I would love it if they went back to that. But the Undisputed Championship.
Oh yeah, that's a nice looking belt too.
A lot of people, this is their favorite wrestling belt of all time. And it's the one that was just before all of the wacky belts and all of the WWE logo belts, right? And this belt, it was massive. This belt was so big, the V1 of this, when Brock Lesnar won it, they had to add extra snaps on it because it couldn't get small enough for his waist. Again, Brock Lesnar couldn't button this because it didn't get small enough for him, the V1. It was so massive. But it's such... Now, yeah, of course, you change it to the network logo, the new WW at the top here, right? You do a bunch of changes to it. I'm not saying you bring back this belt exactly. But this style of belt coming back... I think that's something that's on the table. Maybe not.
So that can be the WWE Championship, and then the Universal will have a galaxy in there.
Yeah, fucking a universe.
And then Chris Jericho will sue the galaxy. That's my line.
Well, nobody. I mean, he can't put a picture of a universe, but
I do.
If you put multiple galaxies, it's
the Universal title.
Universal.
It implies, right? So that's the one that, if I were WWE, I would be basing my next belt off of that, a take back to that. But now I would be fine if they just went back to if just for the sake of arguments, they just went back to the big one, the WWE Championship. Nope, I didn't want to go to the actual webpage for it. I just wanted the picture of it.
One job.
If they wanted to just go back one step at a time. So they moved back from these.
Or just do the WWE one, but the gold one that they had, too. There was a nice gold one that looked pretty decent. Where it was all gold, wasn't colored. I'm not sure which. Let me see if I can.
I think if it's what I'm thinking, it's the one that I'm about to show here. This was the pre-network logo one. This was the one that The Rock won. The Rock unveiled.
That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah. This one wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad. Again, I would prefer a smaller WW on it. But take it one step back. But this is bring back the opulence and the gold to it.
Yeah.
Fine. But then of course, prior to this one, you had of course all the spinner belts and all of that stuff. If he's talking, Fernando says the one that Warrior held. I think Warrior's was the Winged Eagle. And I think Warrior put fucking
the mask.
Different colored belts on it. Here. This is a make sure that fits. There we go.
I don't remember him transitioning from that Rock belt to the current one.
2014.
I just don't remember him doing anything about it. Maybe they just came out with it.
So I might have to make this a little smaller so all the dates show up. Yeah. There we go. So 89. It's when they had the Winged Eagle. That's my favorite of these. 98. Almost 10 years later, they went to the Big Eagle.
/ Stone Cold title.
Yeah. 4 years, they went to the Undisputed. And then 2005 is when they started the spinner belt era. Now, keep in mind, there were multiple spinner belts.
And it wasn't originally a spinner.
It did originally spin, but originally it had a latch that held it solid. It was a magnetic latch that held it in one place.
And that's when Cena decided to make it spin.
And then they removed that so it would spin better. And then they just put a counterweight on the bottom to hold it down. And then the WWE Championship, which we mentioned, and then moving to the new network logo one. And see, part of what I hate about the new ones, the current ones, is how tiny World Heavyweight Champion is on them. It puts the brand above the title, right? The brand is more important than the title. Whereas on all of the previous ones, World Champion was the main focus. Yeah. Champion. Spinner said champ. This one said champion huge. The Big Eagle said champion in giant letters. And even the Winged Eagle, World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. Right. And so those are...
How dare they use the word wrestling?
Well, they're bringing it back.
I know. Isn't it great?
They also brought back the word queef, apparently, so...
That's the PG-14 coming into play.
But so, yeah.
Was that actually one of the banned words? No.
Queef, no. I don't think Vince McMahon thought he would ever have to ban the word queef. You know what I mean? It's like, no one's going to ever try to say this word. And then Drew McIntyre's like, you know what rhymes with chief?
Queef.
want to see if I can find a similar image to show the different AEW championships. Can't find them all though. Yeah, let's see if this is the if you're not someone who watches AEW, this is the AEW World Title. This is a picture of the replica of it, but it's one of the official replicas, so it's at least got the details right. The official one, of course, uses real gems.
Oh my gosh. Why is the AEW logo larger than World Champion?
I sure would like it if it was smaller. I agree there. I also would like it if Champion was a little bit easier to read.
More pronounced.
And that's why I'm checking to see. God, there was a picture I liked so much better, but it's so small that it doesn't show the.
Yes. Time Traveler wants you to explain it to him.
Explain it to him. So, there's a sport called wrestling, right? And a lot of them. You could. I mean, you would probably actually lose because that's an outside.
Yeah, that's a disqualification. And then you would lose later.
And then
they would put you in prison.
Yeah, you would have to. Yeah. This is the All Atlantic Championship, and I think this is fucking absolutely gorgeous. And I'm hoping this is a example of them kind of coming together. In fact, I'm not even hoping. This is an example of them coming together and having a semi-unified design language. Time Traveler, it depends on how many bullets you have in your gun and how good you are at aiming. Because, if they're coming down the ramp, you could probably just go bam, 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 bam. Mm-hmm. But again, you would
lose. They approach you from multiple angles. You're in trouble.
Yeah, and you would lose the match is the important thing, because that is using an outside force. So this is the AEW All Atlantic World Championship, and I
don't like the title itself, but that's.
I like the title. I think
I don't mind the flags though.
Yeah.
The flags aren't that bad. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. The thing,
Japan and China are both.
Yeah, the name is the problem, not the title, and not the reason behind it. Because what they're doing with this is Pac's just traveling around the world and wrestling against the best wrestlers not signed to AEW that he can. And so, but I think this belt is absolutely gorgeous. So, and you can actually look at this belt, and you can compare it to the new women's championship. Let me see if I can find a picture of the women's championship. Here it is.
This moment of silence brought to you by the library.
The library. Having
What'd
fun.
What'd you just say? The what?
You got a library card.
There it is. There's the R.
There's the R. So here's the women's
library.
Here's the women's championship. And so you can see the design language with the
I like that one a lot.
The 4 corner circles, the globe in the middle.
Yeah, I would agree that AEW Championship needs to change to something more like this.
I would.
This is kind of cool.
Yeah, I would love it if they did. I'm a big fan.
And it's almost like it's a ring with the 4 corners being the turnbuckle. Oh, I like it. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of having a unified design language. So I wouldn't hate it if they redid the world title to be like a bigger version of this. Had you ever seen the Lucha Underground Gift to the Gods Championship?
No, I haven't. Will you show us?
Yes, I will.
Wow, we're excited.
It is.
This is going to be fun. And yes, thank you, Ambrosia. If people are enjoying the silence while we wait for Smarks to look up a title, they can check us on our socials at our link tree.
Bam.
Right there.
If you go to our Twitch, you can also see it there live and just click on it. Twitch.tv/Raw.
Fernando has apparently checked that out. He has.
I did. It's beautiful.
Looked at the title that you're about to put on the screen, Smarks?
Yeah, as soon as I get a good picture of it, that's a good
27 minutes.
This is now. I can understand if some people don't like this one because it's definitely a different.
Wow, that's
title.
busy. That is busy.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a beautiful title, but it is busy.
It is very big. I mean, you've got the smoking skulls in the corner on this plate. It's very Aztec.
That's just one plate. What's the middle?
I don't think they're smoking skulls. Those look like lucha masks.
These are skulls. These are definitely skulls.
Oh, on my left, it's right.
Yeah, on the outside plate that's fully visible on both sides. There's a lucha mask in the middle, but around it, in the silver, there's 4 smoking skulls. And by smoking, I mean they've got smoke coming out of their mouth. They don't have cigars or anything. But
I just think it's a hair busy in the middle. I really do.
And these are all Aztec-inspired carvings on it.
I'm okay with those. It's the rather than one large plate in the middle, 3 smaller plates that are messing me up.
Now, that one is the silver version, and they use on TV mostly a gold version, or bronze, I should say, where the silver plates is bronzed. But do you know who was the holder?
You enjoy that? Go potties.
Do you know who was the holder of the Gift of the Gods Championship for a fair amount of time?
Andrade El Idolo.
No, but you're actually relatively close. King Cuerno was the name he wrestled under, but you would know him as Santos Escobar.
Ooh. You love me some Santos Escobar.
Let's see if this image is going to be better.
I really thought you were going to say Alberto Del Rio. I was like, fuck.
Fuck Alberto Del Rio.
Well, somebody is in prison.
No, he got out. He got the conviction overturned or something.
Do you think he's controlling his narrative soon?
He's been pitching really hard to come back to WWE. Like, I don't think he's going to, but he's.
I love the designs. It's seriously just the fact that rather than one large belt, there's 3 smaller plates here. That's really what bugs me the most.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I think that just amplifies the busyness too much for my taste.
This one is that one was a polarizing belt.
I don't mind the busyness if there's not that's what makes it so busy.
It's the multiple plates. It's definitely a unique design for the belt.
Fucking fix your cord or your speaker or mic. Remember when I had the shitty fucking headset? Do you remember that?
Is it better now?
Yes. I love that belt.
This was the main belt for Lucha Underground.
That is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, that's nice.
And so, if Lucha Underground was still around, it would be on near the top of my tier.
And they don't have the word Lucha Underground on there at all.
No.
The Lucha mask is all.
The Lucha mask in the middle is the closest it gets, and that is the Lucha mask that they used on their branding. So I get it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this isn't a big belt that says Lucha Underground Champion, you know.
It doesn't even have the word champion. Just you this says you fucking know what I am. You're watching this show.
You're watching the show. You know what this is. We don't have to fucking spell it out for you.
It's Stone Cold's belt.
Yeah.
You know, the Smoking Skull belt from Stone Cold.
It did have WWF on it, though.
In the fucking skull.
Yeah.
Try to find the best picture here to put up. Maybe this one. What's the resolution on this one? Lighting's bad. Don't like that. Okay.
Yeah.
This one. I think this one's going to be the better one to put up here. No, the resolution's so low. Damn it. Okay, well. Wanted to find a really good one, but I might have to just go with this one.
It's right here.
This one's better. Smoking Skull. Yep. Zoom in.
I just that simplicity with complexity at the same time. Like you don't have to have WWE all over it. It says that you're the World Heavyweight Champion or Universal Heavyweight Champion. You get the nameplates. I think black looks really good with gold.
Mm-hmm. Am I the only one who didn't notice until relatively recently that the skull in the Smoking Skull is a fucking vampire?
What?
Look at it again.
Yep, sure as shit. And it's from the bottom. If it was just the top, you go rattlesnake. But
why would it be a vampire?
I don't know why it would be a vampire, but it is. And then this one, like I said before, if this was still their championship belt, this one is top tier. Now this one is, I think, one of the ring used ones, and it's a little beaten up. You can see there's tarnishing on it from use, and it would be really nice to get it replated. But just the design of this is fucking top tier.
You know, I'm a bigger fan of the Lucha Underground one.
I think I am too. This one's nice and all. I do like the top part being a bit bigger, and that's circular.
I really like the idea that you don't have to have your logo be gigantic. I didn't realize it till today, but I
the Lucha,
that the Winged Eagle, you know, the big gold belt, all of those didn't have a giant logo on them. You don't have a logo, that's fine, but
don't make it fucking. I get why you make it the prominent design element of your belts because it's your brand and that's what you're promoting. But at the same time, there's a certain confidence with just not having it there or having it small because, hey, this is our fucking belt. You're going to know it anyways. We're showing it to you on our brand that you're watching. Here you go. I don't think a belt is something you necessarily need to, over flourish
yeah,
your fucking
that's my
brand
point.
name.
I agree. And that's why I think that's a Nick Khan and maybe a conversation that Trips is going to have with Steph and Nick about going back to it. Now this is the current IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and I think all of us can agree that this is no bueno.
No bueno. I don't like the silver at all.
It's not the silver.
Or the light gold, or whatever.
It's the fact that it looks like it was sketched by a 13-year-old in his notebook.
It looks like what they're trying to do is copy Cody Rhodes' skull.
Eagle, yeah.
And skull.
Or skull.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you can see there's wings of an eagle coming out here, but it's anime style, like hard edge, which I guess is Japan.
Mike do that. Fuck, I'm gonna mute him.
Mm-hmm. Still doing it?
Yeah, we're getting this weird all the time.
Again, I just remind you, remember when mine was really bad?
Yep.
How about now?
Well, it's not here now, but if it does it again, we'll let you know.
Okay.
But no, that I jokingly call this the butterfly belt because it looks like the Divas Championship to me. Mm-hmm. It's not a good design. And there are things that they could have done like that might have made it a little bit better in my thing. But what I really don't like is this big black empty space here.
Yep. I think weird shapes just don't make for good belts.
I think squares make for good. I think weird shapes can work. But there just can't be this much wasted space. Right? So instead of have
the nameplate come at an angle here.
Yeah.
These side plates.
Yeah, exactly. Have the side plates angle in, have these 5 jewels go boom, 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 boom down the side here. Right. That would improve.
How you draw your quadrilaterals matters.
Mm-hmm. That would improve it to me. But more specifically, what I would do is I would have this come down and then loop over. So
yeah, I think you're okay if you just had it go down to a bubble.
Mm-hmm. Literally just having this come basically straight down here. You could do like a wavy line with it or an angled line, or something.
Yeah, two of those belts they could scissor each other, daddy ass.
But I don't hate because this is supposed to look like a crown. I get it up here. Mm-hmm. It's this part here that I think ruins it. If it came down and then looped under, I think it would look better. But right now, I fucking abhor this belt. I hate it.
Abhor it. Abhor it.
It is quite the whoring situation.
Yes. So.
Yeah, not a fan of the new one.
She's been telling you need a new mic. She can't hear your moans and groans quite as well.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
Well, that almost got a spit out of Marks.
So here, this is. Let me pull up this image here. Belts by Dan. This is exactly what I was talking about. This is how you can make that belt, take it from being as shitty and hateable as it was to it still won't ever be my favorite belt, I don't think. But look how much nicer that looks.
It's a lot cleaner, yeah.
Because it comes down here. Straight down instead of angled in.
Oh, right? Okay.
So it comes straight down. Yeah. This is Belts by Dan. Its exact title on this is My Attempt at Fixing the IWGP new belt. And so, yeah, it's all about this angle right here. Now it comes down. That's a lot nicer looking of a belt. Mm-hmm. It's still not my favorite belt, but it's no longer my absolute least favorite belt.
Right.
It comes up to being like, because now it's a classic Shield style crown fitting at the top.
Yeah, that would look great on Seth or Roman or Dean, since you said Shield.
Yes. Yeah, or fucking Mabel, because he was going to be the third member. Oh, no, that was a different one. That was a different one.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Kurt Angle was for a night.
For one night, yes, you are correct. Mabel was not the third member ever.
Oh. Maybe
at one point, who knows? But so I don't think it's going to happen immediately. Trips has way too many things on his plate right now, just in general.
Exactly. That's why I'm thinking by WrestleMania.
But I do think it's in the conversations, because I think the people in charge now understand that to win back the fans, they have to reestablish themselves as a wrestling organization.
Right.
That
hence part the of band taking belts off the band list.
Yeah. The thing that made the Attitude Era the top era in wrestling is I know Vince likes to go away from the brand, but at the end of the day, you make what you call your athletes, and that is superstars. You make stars who are bigger than the sport.
Right.
That's what made the 1980s as big as it was. That's what made the late 90s and early 2000s as big as they were. They finally made something that was bigger than the sport. So when you make a Hulk Hogan and he goes off and makes Mr. Mom or stuff like that, and when you make a Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and at the end of the day, even though Undertaker's always been known for being wrestling, and Undertaker, who's such a big deal that people want to use his entrance for UFC,
right?
That's what you get. You get pop culture. If you do not make a superstar, you do not get pop culture. That's the end of the line. That's point blank period. Jimi Hendrix music for Hulk Hogan made additional pop culture. Those are the things, and it's okay for not everybody on your roster to eventually be a superstar. John Cena carried that company because he eventually became a superstar. Right now, you have to decide who is a superstar.
Right.
And you have to recognize that they can be. I think Roman is a superstar in wrestling. I do not know that he will be a superstar actor or a pop culture icon. You're going to have to find the pop culture icon. It may be Cody. It may be The Miz. It kind of is The Miz, but he's not that much of a pop culture icon.
Right. To give an example of why I think this is in the conversations, this is a belt from area where Triple H had control over the belts.
Correct.
The WWE NXT United Kingdom Championship, right? That's a perfectly cromulent belt, you know? It looks great. It fits the UK. You know, you've got the
lion and the horse, lion and the Bronco crest.
Yep. The crown at the
Queen's
top.
Tower and crown.
Yep. It's all that. It still shows off the WWE branding, but not as in your face. It's got the side plates that they love now that can be replaced with whoever the champion is at the time logo.
And I'm okay with not having a nameplate at the bottom. I really am.
Yeah, if you've got the side plates,
I thought that was one of the cooler changes to doing like the Brahma Bull on the side plates, and
and that's if you've got the side plates, you don't need. Well,
that's it, right? Isn't it usually one or the other?
Yeah.
Wouldn't the side plates also have just the person's name, anyways, with their logo? Not necessarily the logo, but their name on the sides, anyways. No.
The side plates replaced the nameplate, and that's all we're saying is that we're fine with the side plates instead of the nameplate on the front. I like the nameplate on the front, but I'm, at the same.
It's because it's old school and
it's old school and all that stuff. But I thought the side plates were a excellent way to do it. Plus, here's the deal: side plates are an excellent marketing standpoint because now not only do people buy the replica belts, but then they go out and they buy the side plate for their favorite
superstar
champion,
or whatever
to put on there.
Yeah. If you had interchangeable side plate belts, that talk about a marketing thing.
Yeah, and that's what they do. They do have interchangeable side plates on the.
Do they?
Well, you can even have a nameplate differ too, though, if you want.
You can have nameplates, but nameplates are just little pieces of brass that you can have. Like you can walk.
And what do people do if they have a nameplate? They just put their own.
Yeah, put their own name. But even more than that, you can walk into any trophy shop in your town, and they can make up a nameplate for you, right?
Side plates you can customize to the point.
But side plates are something that you have to order from the shop. But I'm trying to find. Where's the one that I wanted to show? Anyways, the North American Championship is the other one I wanted to show from NXT. Another one where when Triple H was in charge, he made a belt. Let's see, is that a good resolution? That should be. And it may not be your favorite belt. Why are you so small? I don't want the small version of that. Give me the big version. There we go.
Here it comes. He's gonna share it.
Here comes the bride. Oh,
so here's
dressed
NXT
in white.
North American Championship. Now, some people, and I may be one of them, the strap is too wide for the plates. If this strap came down and became a normal strap here, I would like it better. But taking the strap out of it, the design of this, excellent. You've got the removable side plates for your champion.
Right.
It still has WWE and NXT branding, but small. The rest of it, North American Champion, is great. I would like for it to be a little bit more intricate, maybe. Ambrosia does not like this one, apparently. I would like it to be maybe a little bit more intricate. I get, but that's a little thing. The biggest problem that I've always had with this one is how wide the strap is. Like I said, I think if it came down here and then was basically right at this level going to the back, basically normal strap, I think it would be better. But the belt design, I like these on the side. I wish they were attached like the Winged Eagle. Had the sidebars attached. But that's that. These are both examples of when Trips was in charge. These were the belts that he made. Now, in fairness, he also made the NXT Championship in two separate versions, and both of them have giant X's in the middle of them. And neither of them are my favorite. But that's why I look at these belts and I think Trips obviously has a style that is not giant W, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's why I just feel like there's a change maybe being discussed. Again, it takes time to make belts, and he just took over a week ago. So even if he called in today, even if he called in on day one and said, hey, make me a new belt. I want a new set of WWE championships. It takes time to make them. whether you're going through Wildcat belts, which is their main belt maker, or Belts by Dan or Red Leather, any one of the major manufacturers. It takes time, especially to be intricate. It takes time for engraving and everything and design. But I can just see that being a conversation that he's having right now with Steph. And let's be honest, he's got a fair amount of pull with Steph, right?
Right.
He doesn't have as much pull with Nick Khan.
No.
But if he puts,
maybe if he does the same things for Nick Khan that he does for Steph,
I guess I don't know. I'm making assumptions on something I don't know. Maybe he's like, hey, Nick Khan,
what's up, buddy?
Here we go.
It's all about the game and my new belts.
Okay. But I could just I would love to see now. I would love to see them just even short term. And the easiest way to do it is when McIntyre or Karrion Kross or whoever ends up beating Rollins for one of the belts, Roman, for one of the belts, have them come out and say,
I think the way to do, if you want to get legit about it, I think the way to do it is to have Cody win it and bring back the big gold, or not the big gold belt, the Wayne Deagle or the big gold belt. Either of those would be fine. Cody is the guy to transition that belt, and the reason he is because he wanted to wear the belt that his dad never got to wear, or he could say, I want to wear the belt that my dad did wear, which would be the big gold belt.
Yeah, I think I don't have a problem with that. I think we're 8 months before Cody's back,
which is fine by me.
And I think the change happens sooner, but especially if they're going back to an older belt, right? I think that happens sooner. I think they can make it into a storyline, though. They could even have it be a Roman, I don't want to use the word hissy fit, but if I can't have this belt, no one can, sort of a thing. After the match,
so he retires it or something.
And he just fucking destroys it, right? We've seen someone take a sledgehammer to a belt before.
Right.
Have him do it again. Just right after say, if I can't have it, no one can. And you sacrifice a replica belt to it. I'm not saying I want to see them actually destroy the belt, but you have them destroy a belt backstage, and then you have whoever come out. Fuck, if it's Karrion Kross who wins, that's perfect because he doesn't have a history at all. You could have him come out with whatever damn belt you want him to have.
Right.
And he just says, hey, I decided that this is the one I want. I'm going to have the Undisputed Championship.
But there's somebody on the other brand. Yeah, tough shit.
That's fine. He didn't beat me. Therefore, I'm undisputed. But.
Undisputed, which is no longer available because they turned on the Young Bucks. Was that this week? Or last week?
This is this week.
That was this week, right? Okay.
And Hangman came out and made pals.
Yep.
Which makes me think Kenny's farther out than we hoped.
The funny thing is, the reports are actually the opposite. The reports have it that they were originally planning on doing FTR versus Young Bucks 3 at All Out in Chicago, but then Kenny became available earlier than they expected, so they're transitioning to the Elite in the Trios tournament, and that's why they did the turn now, is so that we can have the Elite in the Trios tournament. But they couldn't have Kenny come out yet, so they had Hangman come out. But
Hangman's randomly probably going to get injured. And
I think Hangman's going to. I think Hangman's going to choose the Dark Order to be his partners. Right.
I think Kenny shows up and he goes, "No, these are the guys that were with me the whole time."
Yeah. And then, Kenny shows up and
I don't have to hate you guys, but these are the guys that were with me the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what it is. He says, listen, I have no problem with you guys, but, you guys turned on me. And these guys had my back. And so I'm going to team with Alex Reynolds and John Silver. And Kenny can be like, well, that's fine. Because I'm here now.
We're elite and we're not dark.
Mm-hmm. But seriously, think how fucking stacked their trios roster
division
is.
Will be. Well, you've got Death Triangle.
Yep, Death Triangle, Best Friends.
The Elite.
The Elite. Yep. The Undisputed Elite when they come back. You've got fucking totally blanking on some of the names.
Dark Order, obviously. You could have if you still had Marco Stunt.
You got Best Friends now.
Yep.
A couple boys in their dinosaur. But you don't have Marco Stunt, so you'd have to go hire him for that.
No, you don't have that. The Factory, that's not a power team, but they're at least a team there.
Right.
You've got Ruffin It, which is Leon Ruffin and Bear Country.
You could have Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and
that'd be a weird thing, but yeah, you can definitely do
Sanjay
that.
Dutt, yep.
Sanjay Dutt, yep.
Yep. CM Punk and FTR. They've
snap.
Team 4. The Gun Club as a trio.
Obviously, yeah.
Jericho Appreciation Society, so you have 2.0 and either Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager, or
Daniel
Jericho.
Garcia.
Or Daniel Garcia. Yeah, I mean, in fact, you could actually have 2 trios teams come out of that.
Right.
2.0 and Daniel Garcia, and then Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager, and Jericho as well.
One being the dominant, one being the... And you could, theoretically, you could do it with the Fight Club, the...
Combat Club.
Combat
yeah.
Club.
Yep.
Blackpool Combat Club.
Blackpool Combat Club. Yep. Undisputed Elite.
Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah. House of Black. That's a power team for the trios tournament.
You don't always have to have that team only be trios teams.
Mm-hmm. And so they've got a really good power ranking for that. I mean, there's a lot of people who could win that championship. And it's going to be a fun tournament, and especially if you have this whole Hangman Page choosing the Dark Order, but Kenny Omega coming back, that's 2 teams there.
So here's a hypothetical that won't ever happen because WWE has trouble making a tag team division. But do you think WWE tries to put out a trios, or are they smart enough to go after a women's mid card first?
I don't think they'll do a trios.
I don't think they're going to do a trios. I don't think they're going to do a women's. I don't think they're going to do a women's mid card. I think they're going to, with Trips back, they're going to put some focus on women's tag, which is one thing that AEW doesn't have. Arguably, they have a women's mid card, although they continue to state that the TBS title is not a mid card title; it's at the same level.
Yes.
It's a mid card title.
It's a mid card title, just like the TNT is.
Just like the TNT is, and it's not a bad thing for it to be a mid card title. I think that's a problem.
Don't treat. It's not lessening it. It's the step toward. It's for the company. It's let's find out how we can become this.
But so, and they've announced the women's tag tournament for WWE, and so I think they're just going to put a lot of focus on that. There are a lot of people who hear the announcement that they're doing the women's tag tournament, and they immediately jump to, well, that means it's certain that Sasha Banks and Naomi have signed to come back. Right. And I would say that I do not think that this has any evidence to that whatsoever.
Yeah, Sasha with her little tease on Twitter. I'll see you this weekend.
Yep. And then what she saw that weekend was C2E2.
Yeah.
Which is not really a tease. She was going to be there. It's been promoted for so long. So,
and more specifically, she went to C2E2 and she saw people from 3 foot away for $130. And I'm going to tell you that I'm going to say this right now, right? I will see anybody from closer to 3 foot,
3 feet away
for way less than $130 a pop. I'm saying that,
I'm not a hugger, and I will hug for $130 pop.
Yes,
you're not a hugger. I feel like
I'm a cuddly guy. No.
Don't hug every person you see. I feel like no.
I have people try to give me hugs on a regular, and I'm just like, okay.
It just seems so snuggly.
While we're talking about belts, am I the only one who's a little disappointed that Wardlow hasn't had a custom championship yet?
Well, I'm surprised because everyone else has.
Yeah, I'm that's why I say disappointed. It's I'm like they've set the standard where everyone else came out with a customized championship belt. And now he's just wearing the black one that Sammy Guevara had. And I don't know what I wanted from it, but I wanted
Well, how do you make it special, though? You put like a symphony symbol on it or something?
Nameplate logo?
Yeah. A different color strap and different paint on it. I mean, that's what happened when Scorpio Sky had it. He put on a gold strap and a purple
That's
paint
true.
for the thing, and instantly it became Lakers.
Right.
So
maybe they're working on it, as you said. It sometimes takes time.
It sometimes takes a while, but I'm just like, man, we knew that this was going to be happening. Why didn't? Come on, guys, pick it up. I will throw some shade at AEW for this, and that is AEW needs to step up their replica game.
Shade.
You can hop on WWE's shop right now, and you can buy a replica of every current championship that they have, as well as many of their previous championships. And they're high-quality replicas.
And since AEW now owns ROH, they should be popping all the ROH titles.
And as of right now, there is 0 official replica belts on Shop AEW, right? They have had officially only 1 so far, as I remember, and that was the world title they had for a very short period of time. They had pre-orders for it. It was $800, which is expensive, but it was one of the better replicas from every review I've seen out there.
Okay.
Like Wick Belts reviewed it and said for $800 it was better than his $2,000 IWGP V4 replica that he had got. But I mean, seriously, I shouldn't have to look at Pakistani bootleg copies of AEW championship belts at this point to get a belt, right?
Right.
With WWE, like I can get the United States Championship right now. Like no, like $3.99 and it's shipped to my door and it arrives in a week.
Well, I mean, WWE also has relationships with these companies for a very long time too. So maybe they get a sweet deal with, creating these replicas. Whereas AEW, yes, I'm sure they have connections, but they haven't been around long enough to see how many people would bite for it. So they just make limited time things. So it's a special thing.
And my thing is this is where you separate the men from the boys in this. This is where you go all in because they've got enough fan base. They're getting about 1 million people who watch every Dynamite. It's a little bit under right now, but about that, Right now, I could get a big gold for $239 because there's a code for 25% off right now on shopwwe.com. So if you want a replica belt, go now. But yeah, I can get both the Blue Jam belt and the Black WWE Championship. I can get the spinner belt. I can get the Big Eagle and the Winged Eagle. I can get the Women's Championship for both Raw and SmackDown. I can get the Intercontinental Championship in multiple different levels. I can get the commemorative title belt, which are plastic, by the way, just so everyone knows. If you're ordering from the WWE shop, commemorative means plastic. Replica means metal. I can get the new United States Championship, which is that's one that I didn't point out when we were talking about belts. That's a belt that could be divisive. Some people might not like this belt as much.
You really got to just break your belt cherry and fucking buy one. If I have to hear about belts all the time,
you're gonna hear about them once I buy them too. I'm gonna start doing fucking unboxing videos and shit. I'll be buying
a better championship than the WWE Championship.
Yeah, it's divisive. Yeah. Some people might not like it, but it is definitely it's a more opulent title than the WWE Championship in basically every respect. Side plates still have the side plates, and that's the brilliance of the side plate thing is you make the side plates the same size and removable. Then you can buy your Finn Balor NXT side plate and you can stick it on your World Championship or whatever.
True.
Right. Yep.
But that's another thing that you can sell. But all I'm saying is, if Pakistan can crank out a replica belt based off of a picture from your broadcast in 48 hours from you debuting it, right? Then AEW can do it. And maybe you just fucking find those people in Pakistan and say, hey,
you want to make some real money doing this?
You want to make some real money? We'll put it up on our shop, right?
Right.
But right now on AEW shop, there's zero replicas.
Okay.
Zero.
Not even like small ones or anything, or like
nothing.
Nothing.
Well, ladies and germs, we have been at this for 2 hours and 21 minutes.
And I've been venting for 45 minutes.
Probably closer to an hour. About belts. So, shall we bring it to a close?
Nah, I want to vent about belts some more.
Fuck, I gotta get to sleep, man.
Sure you don't want the Rey Mysterio Signature Series Championship replica?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Well, it looks fucking ugly, actually. Bring it up bigger to see if it's any good. It looked ugly.
Motherfucker.
Let it go. Either get the fucking belt and that's it. We both know you can't get a belt anytime soon.
It says
Wait
Booyaka
until you can
on
afford it. Oh, Jesus.
I do not like that strap.
I'll buy it for $2.
Well, you think your belt buckle bothers you when you sit too long with being chubby? Imagine those spikes going into your belly.
Yeah. Well, reportedly, that's why they changed the size of the Big Eagle belt, because Stone Cold, when wearing it and doing a stunner, it was cutting into his sternum, and he didn't like it, so they changed the size on it, and then they changed the way the things were. Anyways. That's beside the point. I'm going to continue looking at it. But on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the book on the wrestling booking unit. We're going to take some time to remind you to go to tatnisco.com. Check out the other shows on the network because we are part of the Tatnisco network. We're going to remind you to head on over to our merch store. rawandorderww.myspreadshop.com. Right, link is in the doobly-doos for it. You can get yourself a Pissant Podcast hat or a Sasha Bear shirt or a signature shirt like back there, or one of many other designs that are up on that shop, including the designs that will be going up hopefully within the next couple days of our AI-generated abstract art homages to wrestlers. I'm really excited about those.
Those are exciting. Those are definitely unique to us.
Yes. Thank you, Ambrosia. Don't forget to check out all of our socials at the link tree. It's on display right now, or it's in the doobly-doos as well. So you can check out all of those. You can follow us on the social medias. You can follow me at Raw and Order WBU, just like it says right there on the screen. That's pretty much anywhere except for Facebook, where I'm at Pissant Podcast Reasons. You can follow DA Fabe at...
I really thought you did this with your finger, and then I saw the other finger. So DA Vincent K Fabe right there.
And then JLB is at...
Oh no, I'm about to sneeze. Okay. JLB420 on Twitter, anchor.fm/RTR, because as you know, Real Talk Radio is the brand. I expect to be talking with a buddy of mine who did, how dare you?
I dare.
Who will be talking to me about Bullet Train, which stars, of course, Brad Pitt, new movie that just came out. We'll be doing a nice little review on that tomorrow, a little friendly discussion, what we liked, what we disliked, our review on it, and along with Lightyear and some other films as well. So we'll probably be releasing that tomorrow. Hopefully I get some time with him. That would be fun. But yeah, links are in the doobly-doos. There's a link tree for everywhere you can follow me, from the Twitters to the Instagrams, to the Facebooks, to the Anchors of the world. But JLB TLC 25 on Twitch, where you'll see me play some Fall Guys and play some wrestling and do a little bit of a whole bunch of games, because that's what I do. And that is it. Back to you.
Awesome sauce. But on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the book on the Wrestling Booking Unit. We will be back in a couple days with our Fantasy Booking Institute, where we challenge each other for fantasy bookings. But on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the book. Thank you all for listening. We will see you soon.
Apparently JLB's fantasy is he's a whore.
Hey!
Being a whore.
Oh.